Hello everybody and welcome back. My name is Kari and today I am doing the Reread book tag. I was tagged by Abby from Autumn of Pelennor, recently changed to Abby of Pelennor, who I will link down below because she's amazing and you should definitely go check her out. I will also leave the original creators tag down below. But that said, let's get into these questions. 1. Let's assume you do reread if you're doing this tag. Fair assumption. So where do you sit on the reading scale from almost never to all the time? Somewhere solidly in the middle. It depends on my mental well-being at the time. So for example, when I was studying for the bar, I only reread. I did read one new book because I needed something that wasn't a reread, but I largely reread old favorites because I didn't have the mental capacity or space to put new information into my brain and try to keep it there while I was studying for the bar, which is hell. Otherwise, I don't know, I'd say somewhere between 5 and 10% of my reads on an average year tend to be rereads for me. I really like rereading. I love being able to go back into a world that I enjoyed and remember the details and find new nuances and stuff like that. Number 2, has that changed over your reading life? Yes. Partly because as I've gotten older, I've been exposed to more and more books, and then joined BookTube, and the exposure just increased exponentially. Oy. But when I was younger, I reread and reread and reread everything at least 5 times. In high school it started to be a little bit less, but my favorite books I still reread easily once a year. And then I hit college and law school and I didn't reread much. Now that I am out of law school, I reread more because I can. I have the time. I'm not constantly studying. I have a lovely 9-to-5 job, or more or less. And so when I want to reread, I do. Otherwise, I have a whole ton of books that I've not read that are on my shelves that I need to get to. Number 3, when do you reread? Maybe immediately after finishing a book or not till years later or when the mood strikes. Definitely not immediately after. I can't stand doing that immediately after. It's like movies. I don't watch them back to back, rewatch, because at that point it's not enough time for me to get anything new. I'm just going to start skipping paragraphs. I would say my rereads have to be at least 3 to 4 months apart, depending on the book and how much I like it and how much I want to reread it. Usually they're about a year apart though, at least. Some of them, Lord of the Rings is the one that immediately comes to mind, tend to be several years between. But for example, Graceling or Cry of the Ice Mark, generally speaking, are about a year in between, maybe 2. Number 4, why do you reread books? Because I like them. Number 5, how do you reread? Faster, slower, just the best bits? I definitely reread faster because I'm not getting into this world as a newbie, so I know the basics, I know how it ends. I'm more looking for the nostalgic feeling and the warm fuzzies that it gives me as opposed to trying to figure out this entirely new world. So I do reread faster, but I also find different bits that I had actually skipped or just glossed over on the first read. Number 6, who or what do you reread? More specifically, which authors or genres or individual books? Fantasy and historical fiction. Thus far I haven't read any nonfiction. There are a couple of books on my shelves that I look at and go, I know I read you and I liked you, but I don't remember the details that I want to remember, so I do want to go back and reread some nonfiction in the coming years. But largely it has been fantasy and historical fiction. Number 7, is there a book you found better when you reread it? Not so far. At least not that I remember. Generally, if I'm rereading a book, it's because I liked it the first time. If I didn't like it the first time, there's no way I'm going to reread it. There is a chance that I liked it enough to get a 4-star, and now that I'm reading a lot more audiobooks, I suspect I will like a lot of the books when I reread them in physical copy, because I do get more out of physical copy. But thus far, I haven't done that. 8, one that was worse on reread. Not that I can recall. I'm pretty solid in my ratings the first go round. I know what I like, and I tend to stick to that. 9. Which book have you reread the most times? You want to take a wild guess? Graceling. Uh-huh. I've read that one, I want to say between 10 and 15 times at this point, and I will continue rereading that until the day I die. I adore that book. Fire is probably my least favorite of the series thus far, but even so, it gets a 4 stars. Graceling, Bitterblue, and Winterkeep all got 5 stars from me, hands down. I have not reread Winterkeep yet, but that is coming in the next month or two. And Graceling though, hands down, Graceling. Unless you want to say Boxcar Children books, but even those, I think I only read them 2 or 3 times, because I kept trying to find new ones, because I got bored when I was in 5th grade before I got told to read new stuff. So yeah, definitely Graceling. That is the Reread book tag. Thank you, Abby, for tagging me in this. It was really fun. I hope you all enjoyed, and if you want to be tagged, consider yourself tagged and let me know how it goes for you. Other than that, I will see you in my next video. Bye.